talking about today?
Enough of the preface. Yeah. We've got 3 topics. Yours actually is first dealing with a craft. This is, what do we call it again?
This is a fabric coil basket. And this is something I've been doing for years. And after
Has it been years now?
It has.
Wow. Yeah, it has.
It has. We were still in the trailer when I started these, if you remember.
Yeah, true.
So we, I have quilting, and so I have a lot of material. And so my fabric baskets have taken a new turn. So that's our first segment.
So it's kind of like it captures the leftovers from quilting? Mm-hmm. Very
Didn't
cool.
start out that way, but that's where it is now.
No, it makes sense. So I think you have a video that will get into that. Is there any additional foundation that you want to lay before we watch your video?
No, this is the basket I actually make in that video, so you'll get a chance to see how it comes together. It's pretty quick, pretty easy, a lot of fun.
Very cool. So let me go ahead and get this queued up, and we will watch.
The screen. That screen.
No,
that screen.
This is the screen. You have to forgive me. This is the screen that we're actually going to watch the presentation on. So let me see if this
literal
takes care of it.
There you go.
So when I'm done making a quilt, I've got all these scrap pieces left over. Let me show you what I do with them. I begin by gathering my supplies. I decide whether I want to do a contrasting color or a blending color, understanding that I'm going to have some yellows, so neither of them will be perfect. But in this case, I think this is the most beautiful yellow. I swear it is. But I think in this case, the blue is a better choice. I'm going to grab a clothesline and make my way to the table. So these are all my strips, once I've got them sort of laid out and organized. A lot of fun colors. They are all too wide, however, except for maybe this one. See that length, that width? It's 1/2 inch or so. That's about the width I'm going to need for the baskets. So I'm going to take the time to go back through and cut a bunch of these up and decide which one of these is going to be the centerpiece, because the baskets all begin with a medallion and it stands out. So probably either going to be the yellow or something really pretty like that swirly that I love so much. All right. About 1/2 inch. Doesn't have to be precise either. Always used scissors before I learned about the rotocolor. I did baskets before I did quilting. That's about right. But rotocolor is so much quicker than scissors. Okay, here's where we start. This is the cord that I showed you. See how it's got innards? It used to be cotton on the inside, and about 4 or 5 years ago it's just this nylon. So I pull it out a little bit so I can cut it off. Throw that part away. Pull this back up so that it has like this flat area. Makes it real good to start. Okay, I'm going to start off by sort of folding the first piece over. Okay? That. And I'm going to wrap. Trying to keep it tight to start off with. Keeping it tight, overlapping. Focus on. There we go. There we go. Not perfect, but you'll see when I go to coil this, it's not going to make any difference. So in the meantime, I'm just going to sit here and wrap. Nice and tight. When I get to the next piece, I'm just going to work it in. Now this one, I left a little bit of the selvage and I don't want it there because that outside will show. Now if there's a little bit of selvage that you put underneath what I'm about to do, then it would hide it. Okay, you see what we did? And I'm overlapping it. And I'm just wrapping with the new piece. Back up a little bit. And again, it isn't about being perfect with this. Wrap and make sure my little ends are tucked. And then I'm overlapping. Eventually start to just get into a groove. Okay, now when I come to this end, I don't want it to, I'm going to coil this to become the medallion that makes the bottom of my basket. Taking back to this end, I'm just going to turn it in on itself, and I'm going to keep making a little coil. This is what I call the center medallion. It's one of the most, oh, see, there's a good example. There's a little piece that didn't get totally tucked in. I'm just going to tuck it in as I coil. I'm pulling on this so that my coil is staying tight, and I'm using these two fingers to hold it while I spin. Okay, about the size of $50. And I'm going to get a big old pen, and I'm going to stick it in so that it goes all the way through several layers. And holds. There we go. Now, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do a zigzag stitch that's going to zigzag across the area where the two pieces meet. And it'll hold it together. Okay, back. Here's what I set my stitches to. I've got the zigzag. I'm going to start it off with 5. I might go down to as low as 3.5, depending on how it looks. And 2, 2.5, sometimes 3. Each one's a little different. There's no, there's no science to this. The way I was taught was just to go all over this like crazy, left, right, and otherwise. And that's fine. I generally, you almost have to start that way. But as soon as I can kind of pick up an edge, I start to. Even if I'm sort of working it backwards from how I'm going to work the rest of the basket when I get into it. So let me show you. For me, I'm going to line this side up. This line right here is where I'm going to begin. So I'm going to put it into the machine. I'm going to make sure that my needle is centered right over the gap so that it zigs and zags all the way across from one side to the next. I'm going to set my machine to slow so it doesn't run away with me. Actually, I'm going to back it up just a little bit more. Okay, here we go. And I'm just going to turn it as I go. On this initial piece, it is really important to go slow, but you won't have to do this the whole basket. I think that center medallion is done. cute little fabric bowl. Now, I sometimes choose to make lids, and lids are just bowls flipped, and they're usually less arched. They're more gentle in their turn, and then I make a handle for them, or I've got handles that I install. So I gotta think about this one, whether I'm gonna make a lid or not, but there's my bowl. It's not too hard at all.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very fun.
You know, it's interesting. I've been watching Tamara do these for years, and I think, at first I was like, years, it hasn't been. Then I remember you made them for my grandmother while she was alive. Family members. Is there anyone who's not with us
Like
anymore?
my quilts.
Yeah. But
I made you a quilt. I haven't made you a quilt. I got to make you a quilt.
the cool thing is that these, you know, in this one, it's like the same material. They actually have some heft to them. These are like kind of dense. Think about it. It's made out of rope that's been, you know, tightly bound in together. So when you actually feel these, you can put things in them. I remember when Tamara used kind of the same like plasticized material that you would use for like a picnic table or something like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of have almost a rubberized feel to it. But the cool thing is you can like make these, put keys in, keep them by the door, put change in. And if you put that plasticized material, you can then clean it so they don't become like germ hubs. Because this is stuff that I actually think about. I'm like,
Ooh, you can be really, really clean.
but if you get the other materials, you can actually clean them up and they become very utilitarian. But I like them, and it's fun because, you know, obviously you can find cool little ornamental
this is something
stuff.
that the woman who taught me didn't do this. She takes actually a little loop and she, you know, creates a little loop there. I fell in love with the knob section at Hobby Lobby and
Fell
was like,
in love.
Ooh, idea
kind of
bulb, light
obsessive,
bulb
but
going off.
yeah.
So I take great pride in finding just the right handle for each basket.
Yeah. No, they're very cool. Very cool. Time-wise, how long did you have to put in to create something like this?
The bowl itself was that video. I ran it, you know, pretty much nonstop, but then cut it up. I'd say that was about an hour and a half for this part.
Okay.
And this wasn't probably but another 30 minutes thereafter.
So 2 hours.
Now I haven't gone through and trimmed all the little, you know, the little threads, and I generally will do that before I give it as a gift. And that can take a good 15-20 minutes itself.
Now, didn't you do something to like be juried or whatever it's called?
Yeah, there's the Appalachian Heartwood, I know as, I think it's the Southwest Virginia Appalachian Art Center. Big long name. Heartwood is what I know it as.
Beautiful facilities.
Down in Abingdon, Virginia. Oh my goodness, if you want anything that's artisan based from this region, they've got it there. They've got carvings, wood, fabrics, you know, yarns, everything that anything could be made in this region or is made by someone who resides in this region, they've got at the place. And so yes, they jury the people who are allowed to be there, meaning you send them their stuff and they decide if you're good enough. And yeah, I've been juried into the Heartwood, to the Appalachian Art Center, and I have several pieces there. In fact, it's probably time to send them some more. I was hoping to send them a quilt soon, though.